Hey, it's Graham and Nathan, and we are in conversation with...
We are just two men who love our mothers very dearly. We kiss them on the lips before they go to bed, and we love this podcast. The 90-year-old man will be
proud. He doesn't know what an iPhone is. Actually, before we start, the picture that I found last night, Tom with the AirPods. I got new AirPods and I was showing them to Tom.
So cute.
And he doesn't really understand technology a whole lot.
What relation is he?
It's a bit complex. Like, he's related to me, but he's not really related to me. He's kind of like a family friend.
Nice.
But he's taken me in as one of his own. I'm grateful for that. Here he is.
Is he actually 90?
Oh yeah, like he's 90.
Looks like he's got a cigarette in his ear.
Yeah, I still haven't. He preferred it this way. He said he could hear better out of them than when he put them in.
They're sticking out like
yeah. And I still haven't got the earwax out of them.
So what happens if you want to have an after party?
He doesn't. I don't.
Do you put the earplugs in to Tommy and?
Go
to bed, Tommy.
He's a bit deaf,
right.
So he generally has the television up full.
Yeah.
My room is right above the sitting room, so I generally have to put in earphones if I want to even watch something on my laptop. But we have a great time. You know, we kind of get this every night and have a chat.
He usually chases it with a bit of a whiskey.
He does. Yeah. He does like Jemmy Chaser or Bush.
He chases you.
That's the quickest I've seen him run.
I'm gonna find you. Oh.
Sure, fucking will be diving.
Yeah. So in case you don't know, you're still listening to In Conversation with. It's me, Colin, with my co-host Gavin and Greg. I looked at the wrong one as well, actually.
Right, Gavin from Cavan. How you doing?
He's
I'm Gary, by the way, just in case Peter Collins can't remember.
And today I'm joined by Spin DJs Graham and Nathan.
It's your boys.
Thank you very much for the champagne and grapes on arrival as well. Now I did request someone to be feeding me grapes when I came in, but I've heard they're coming in 10 minutes.
The budget just doesn't stretch that far.
God damn it!
Sorry.
We actually had a traumatic experience coming here.
It was. So you were sent to a Circle K.
Okay, so first of all, I was messaging you, Cullum, and I go, where are we going? Because you said DCU. I go, perfect, I know where DCU is, but you go the Glasnevin campus, and I go, I thought there was only one campus. So then I go, okay, maybe there's another campus somewhere. So I go DCU Glasnevin, and put me straight down the road to the Circle K, the really bad one beside the pub and the mace and stuff like that. Yeah. So we were there and go, God, this college has really gone to the dogs.
That's strange, because that's near the Ballymun entrance.
No, so I think the Ballymun. Instead of turning left, go down the Ballymun and just keep on straight. And then it was like I was on a treasure hunt because it was like right in the middle of the road. He goes, right, you've arrived. Get out the shovel and I just started digging my way to DC.
Can we actually just give a shout out to that pub? Do we know the name of it? Just we used their toilets. Shout out to the left cubicle.
It was the one beside Mace.
Oh, it's the one across the road, is it?
Yeah.
The slipper.
The slipper.
The slipper.
Yeah.
The slipper sponsors this podcast.
I followed you in on the toilet, and the toilet seat was very warm.
Yes,
your ass cheeks were so nice. Thank you so much for warming up for me.
I'm excited for this podcast.
Now I did have to wipe a little something off the toilet seat, but it's not too bad.
Wipe it off.
I got the little bit of tissue, and then I just put it was a little hair. I don't want to use the word pube on your podcast. But damn it. Sorry, boys. So I didn't want to say
I think that they're little treats to somebody these
That's your 90-year-old housemate. After James
we discussed he's got a bag.
But why it was traumatic
was my Jesus.
We were in the car, we were down the motorway, and we nearly died, okay? There was a truck that actually started colliding into our car, and it was like a very poor episode of Fast and Furious.
I'll explain. So we were on the way to Swords, and you come off the slip road when you're joining the motorway with the Port Tunnel. So we were in the left lane, and then the truck was coming in the lane beside us. We were on the leftist lane, and then I was waiting for the truck to go into the main lane and go on my merry way. But because the car was so low down, the truck started to indicate over into our lane. And I go, oh God, he's not going. I go, ah! And then the videographer in the car in the seat behind me started screaming. He's the coolest guy you ever known.
Cool
he's so cool. I've actually lost a lot of respect for that. So I had to swerve over into the hard shoulder and slam on the brakes. The truck didn't even stop. He just kept on going. So we were, I'd say, less than a foot away from my car being smashed. It would have spun out and we wouldn't be here today. Could you imagine the guilt you guys would have held that we were on our way out here and we died?
Thinking of publicity, we'd fucking take off. Like, it'd be amazing.
Would you have let out that oh God, we were supposed to interview them today?
Yeah.
Or would you have kept it quiet?
Oh, that's a
We
cool-
know nothing.
No.
We know nothing.
No, we'll completely own it. Like, think of like that's free publicity.
Oh, the
Yeah.
cameras be out here. You'd be doing the interviews.
We're
and
really disappointed that like we were all set. We had our research done. You know, we know they're not the biggest guests we've had, but
Of course.
But at least you got Peter Collins last.
By the way, did we say we got a podcast? Check it out on iTunes. In conversation with, yeah. It's very sad that they're dead and all, but you know, we do a podcast.
I thought you were plugging your own.
Yeah, I was going to say Graham.
Graham and Nathan's Little Big Podcast. You can get it every Thursday. Thanks.
Peter Collins does not have a podcast and he doesn't listen to
We have a
ours.
camera as well, lads. if you want
Oh,
to
sorry.
say.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I've been
guys,
speaking
sorry.
into the iPad.
Sorry, guys.
I don't know where to go from here.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we'll bring it back to the very
Usual
beginning,
question
lads.
column, yeah.
Right, yes, so actually, good point. So this is actually funny because I contacted you both. So I DM'd, which one are you on Instagram?
I actually was thinking about this. You DM'd Nathan, but you sent me an email, which shows you have a lot more respect for me.
I think it does. Yeah.
I don't know if you have an email. Do you have an email linked to your Instagram?
I do.
Do you have an email address?
I have recently added a Gmail account to
Wow.
my social media, guys. I'm pretty excited about it, but I've forgotten the password. So,
So you're not going to be
Yeah.
you're not going to be replying to many people.
not really. Every day I put in a password to see if I log on.
Daily.
I'm successful as of yet.
Daily.
I get quite aroused doing it as well.
So I DM'd Nathan. And I emailed.
What kind of guesses do you even
You
make?
live with a 90-year-old man. Sorry.
I'm so glad we told
Wow.
you. So I DM'd Nathan and I emailed Graham, and then Graham got back and was like, "Yeah, that sounds good." And then the next
Spoke for me.
The next
Spoke for
morning, Nathan was like, "Yeah, cool." Like no questions about it, like when or whatever. So like, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
It's
is
good
kind
to
of odd
speak to
because we do
someone.
get contacted separately for the same thing. So if someone wants to contact us, and we kind of share the wealth, as in, right, I'll reply to this person, you reply to this person, but the other person always just seems so rude. We got asked to do host something before, and we were both unavailable. Nathan replied with a real nice email, thanks so much, and I just haven't replied. So I just look like
You
such
look like a dick.
I look like such a dick.
Actually-
Whereas Nathan looked like one there with you.
Yeah. I know.
Hey, I said yeah.
I know. Do you boys know Hamish and Andy?
Yes.
Yes, of course. And they actually so they have a shared email address, and half of them go to Hamish and half of them go to Andy. I don't know how they've managed that.
We're not adopting that policy.
Yeah,
You're
no.
still.
I'm actually very
email
upset that
officer.
you know Hamish and Andy, because we steal a lot of Hamish and Andy stuff, and we thought a lot of people in Ireland don't know what they do. So we're like, damn, we've
Do
been
you know
sussed.
do you know who turned me on to Hamish and Andy?
Oh.
Peter Collins.
Oh,
Okay, this is like the
okay.
fifth name drop of Peter Collins in this
Yeah.
No,
episode
that's too
already.
much. He's not like
Yeah, he's not getting another one for the rest of the show.
I was going to say we'd give him a nickname, but like,
Sexy Peter Collins.
yeah, like it was going to.
But the question is, what was the initial thought when I approached both of you separately? Is interviews? Have you been asked for many?
No.
Never, no. I
No.
don't think anyone's really that interested in us enough to ask us to be
I
interviewed.
did see the article about your nutrition habits.
Gee, what?
Is that a Ross Purcell?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Ross. It was someone. Oh, was it Ross?
No, it was Rosanna Davidson.
Oh,
Yeah.
We got sent an email once, and we got asked, "Can you fill in these questions?" And we're like, "Yeah, sound." We sent them away. 6 months later, one of my friends screenshot and goes, "What the hell?" I go, "This has been forged." I don't remember doing this. I remember because it was supposed to be all about health and stuff, but we didn't know what it was
I
for.
could see why you were asked, because look, Graham, he's a small beefcake. There's abs there. Me, I look like I'm dying. Genuinely, this could very well be the last podcast I ever do. This could be the last time you ever see me.
Including your own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gaunt looking. Do you agree?
Do I agree?
Yeah.
You're tall.
Yeah, tall.
You know-
willowy. But that article was all about health, like how you keep in shape, and I was like, this is a slap in the face.
But we didn't know what it was for. We thought, okay, we can be jokey, funny here. But then, so I said, "What do you have for breakfast?" And I go, "Oh, I love a big bowl of Cocoa Pops." And then I go, "What do you have for dinner?" "Oh, I love a pie," and all this kind of stuff. And then Rosanna Davidson, whatever,
Yeah.
thought we were being serious and was trying to take the good out of the meals and trying to put a positive spin on it. Well, of course, the milk in the Cocoa Pops have a calcium, which is good, but maybe replace the Cocoa Pops with some Rice Krispies, get rid of the chocolate. And of course, a pie is nice every now and again. And I go, "Oh, I didn't know this was serious." So we look like complete idiots when we were doing that. So, Gavin, you saw that article?
Yeah.
Nice one. All right. Well, good to see someone saw it. Anyway,
Someone doing the
all our
research.
hard work sending emails after people.
So sorry, which one got the emails and which got the DM?
Email.
Email, okay.
I'm respected.
And respected.
Yeah.
What did you think of the wording of the email?
I'll read it here.
Yeah, do.
Oh, you're just gonna
this is
do
great.
that.
This is the first time any of our listeners are actually going
We've addressed the email a lot of times because Colin gets a lot of
It was initially brought up.
feedback.
It was initially brought up with Connor Moore, aka Connor Sketches, and he said that I think one of the lads asked him like, why did you pick us? Because he said that he gets asked for this kind of stuff a lot, and he says it's hard to choose between. But he said the way I worded the email particularly endeared him to say yes to the other.
Well, let's have a read. Hey Graham, my name is Cullum and I'm a second year student at DCU. I'm a massive fan of yours and I actually think I fancy you a little bit. So please, can you come out to DCU and I want to talk to you for about an hour. So that would endear people to come.
Certainly.
It worked for Joe
It
Burton.
might give the wrong impression.
Well, I was still waiting for that impression that he gave me. You know, and I'll read properly. The show is a sort of biographical interview where we talk to our guests about their careers and significant moments in their lives while also having a laugh. We nearly died today.
Yeah.
If you'd like to hear an example, you can listen to the show here. Give us a link. I'm emailing to see if you'd be up for an interview in the near future. We'd love to chat with you about your radio career. Our show takes place in the Glasnevin campus. If you can't make it to DCU, we can definitely arrange a place or time that suits you better. If this is something you'd be interested in, please let us know. We'd love to have you on for a chat. All the best, Colin MacDonald. Very well written.
Lovely.
Very
Was
well
that the
written.
same email in my DM box?
No, I just said, hey, do you want to be on my college
Yeah,
podcast?
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to talk to someone? Yes. Yes.
See, I didn't think like DMs would prove very fruitful. That's why that's when I do DMs. Like I just kind of like, hey, do you want to be on the podcast?
You're picking a low-hanging fruit. DM me, sir.
Message, a message, yes.
Oh my god.
Message, unbelievable.
He's kind of cute. Yeah.
Who's been your favourite guest you've had on? 'Cause you've had some big
That's a
people
good
on.
I
question.
think we all probably have our own personal favourites.
Yeah.
Let's all say.
Well, mine was Kira King.
Yeah, because he flirted the arse off of her.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so I never had a massive interest in radio, being completely truthful. I always kind of thought I was going to be a journalist, and that was kind of the avenue I wanted to go. I used to work nights in a hotel back when I was in college in Galway, and I used to watch or listen to Kira and Chris every night. It was my first 3 hours of my shift, so it was brilliant. I used to pass the time, and and then when we started doing this, Kira was probably one of the top of my list. And she was great crack, and she's hot, and we're gonna have a baby.
Wow, beautiful. Lovely. What about you, Gavin?
Our latest episode, actually, Brian Dobson, was released on Friday, and I think that's my favourite because obviously I think it was probably the most prolific name we've had on so far.
Slap
More
in
than
the
likely.
face.
Yeah.
Well, last Friday, now it's
Yeah,
changed,
yeah, it's
obviously.
current now.
I'd see
This one hasn't gone out yet.
Yeah, okay.
I'd see Brian on the telly since we're all very young.
Yeah.
I'd actually interview him. It was a great experience, and then we just gave us a lift into town afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, give you a lift. So,
Yeah, he gave me a lift into
Yeah.
how did that conversation begin?
We had said we were going to town.
We had said at the start of the interview that we were going to town because I was getting this done.
Lovely.
Pointing to my ear piercing, yeah.
It looks very sore, is it? Okay?
Yeah,
It was very sore. We
it's
recorded it,
very
actually.
infected.
See, actually, that's not a nose piercing; it's a wart.
And Brian was like, at the very end of the interview, he remembered and was like, "Oh, you boys are going into town?" It's like, yeah, we are. He's like, "Do you want a lift?" Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And also,
Greg got shotgun, unfortunately.
we actually did
We played Gears.
a bit of collaboration with Brian because we had our 24-hour broadcast for DCU TV on Friday, and we were trying to get stings off the people we were interviewing, and so basically we just did like a 6-1 bit where Brian was at the desk there, and he introduced the broadcast, and
As if he was
helping us.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Was he wearing braces?
No.
He's notorious wearing braces. I've seen him like in the wild
He
3
seems like
times.
a man that would wear braces.
You want a fun fact about Brian Dobson?
Yeah.
He shared the same English teacher.
Oh.
Would you believe he went to the same secondary school
He
as
was
I?
Newpark?
Yeah.
Was he?
Newpark.
He was. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. And Peter Collins came. Oh, damn, we're not supposed to
God
mention his
damn it.
name. Ah.
You could have a drinking game
Yeah.
with Peter Collins.
Honestly, we'll put a disclaimer to start. Take a
Oh.
shot every time you hear Peter Collins' name.
Jesus.
I want yours now, Colin.
My favourite was definitely Till Johnny's, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like when we were starting, we were interviewing our mates, and then like I just took a notion to email one of them, and it was Johnny.
We were a fan of the podcast.
Yeah,
you
big fan of the podcast, and which was only really started going
at the
at
time.
that
Yeah,
time. I think they were only 3 or 4 weeks in, and I sent him an email, just chanced my arm, and he said yeah to doing it. And then as it happened, they were in Dublin the same day we were doing the InterVarsity broadcast here in DCU, which is a 12-hour broadcast we do for Barrettstown every year in the DCFM studio. And the stars fucking aligned, and we got to close out the broadcast interviewing the boys. and like they were just
they'd run it themselves, like they're tight,
yeah,
you know.
like their give and take is just second to none. Like they just get each other, and they're fucking hilarious, and they had great stories and everything, and we just spent the entire time laughing our arses off, and it was brilliant.
The pressure.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on now, Gene.
I
wish I actually did.
They are the best duo we have had on so
Hey,
far.
Nathan, remember that time that funny thing happened to us? God, yeah, the pressure.
We're going to lift the table on you though. What's your own favourite interview?
Own favourite interview that we've done.
This in our career?
Yeah.
I loved interviewing Niall Horan. I'm a big One Direction
Do you want
fan.
a little tidbit there?
Yeah.
Niall Horan and I were actually born in the same hospital on the same day in the same year.
You're not the same age as Niall Horan.
Exact same.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
How old are you?
What hospital?
20.
St. James's.
Great hospital.
Yeah,
25.
25.
Okay.
Just for
26
Graham,
this
how old are
year.
you?
27.
27.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the oldest in the room for once.
But yeah, we interviewed Niall Horan. It was like the biggest interview we ever did because they said, boys, we're flying you over to London. Now, it wasn't glamorous, boys. Like, we were there.
Economy class.
Yeah, economy class.
Ryanair.
Eating our own sandwiches
I was
in the airport.
it was very frightening because it was the first, I think it was our first big one.
Yeah, definitely.
We had Ed Sheeran and Niall Horan in a space of about 2 months. And this was when we were back on the Zookers, maybe 3 years ago now. I remember we went to the toilet before the interview, and the both of us are the same. We're a bit better now, but when we do interviews, we get very nervous, and my stomach just goes straight through me. Yours goes straight through you.
It was like a goose was trying to crawl out of my rectum. That's how I can only describe it. It was making noises, and it was like the fanciest of hotels. Like, this was proper 5-star, and they're like, when you arrive here, we'll get one of the people from the record label to meet you downstairs and bring you up. And we're just there, and it was the set of like the Oprah Winfrey show.
Oh,
there was a lot of lamps, there was a lot of lights, and then when we arrived, they went, "Oh, we weren't expecting 2 of you," and they just like, talk amongst yourselves until we find another mic. So you're sitting beside Niall Horan, and you're just like, okay, I won't mention One Direction because he's trying to do solo work here, and he probably doesn't want to hear all that. And I just found it very awkward.
It was because we weren't used to it, but there was
Is that because of your boner?
Yes. And the goose's head was still the goose's head was trying to attack my boner.
Okay.
So it was just a lot of that going on.
Happens, yeah.
But it was small talk with Niall Horan.
Okay.
But the problem was, it wasn't with Niall, it was with the people around. Imagine being in a room this size in a suite in a hotel, and you're in the middle of London, the poshest place you've ever been, and there's just camera crews everywhere and people with English accents, and everything seems a bit more, serious when there's English accents going around the place. And there's just lights shining down you, and the two of us are just off a flight going, what are we doing here?
I need to shit.
Yeah, exactly. I have just left the dirtiest dump in the poshest hotel I've ever done in my
It was
life.
strange attire we were wearing as well. You were wearing pineapple shirt.
I didn't iron it, and I look back on it now. I had a massive fat face as well. I got bad lighting in the photo afterwards, boys. It was a bad experience.
It was a bad experience. And do you know what? Like, I'm single. Can I plug that? Graham?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
plug
go for
I'm
it.
single?
Nathan Riley is single. I wouldn't go near him though.
Okay, what?
Huh?
Yeah, I'm using one of the pictures of us with Niall Horan, and I had to leave Graham in because he looked so bad. That I
You
thought
look so
this-
bad.
he looked
Yeah.
good.
I'll get it out now because I actually.
It was
I'll
like
show you.
Two-Face. It was Two-Face. It's the light is shining.
If you half my face, one half looks grand,
Okay.
and then the other half looks absolutely horrendous.
Here we go.
There we go.
As opposed to now where both halves are
Horrendous. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When was this?
Suspense is killing me, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Don't you worry.
That's
I
okay.
know you have like this makes for bad podcast.
No, this
listening.
is good podcast.
Oh, it is. Oh, we're learning.
This is like Joe Rogan. I'm like, Jamie, can you get up that picture on YouTube for me?
Have you ever done D&T?
Yeah. Hey, we should all do shrooms. Hey guys, the world would be so much better if we all did
I
mushrooms.
love that meme that's going around like anything serious and it's just Joe Gordon's like, that's crazy, man. Have you ever done DMT?
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Look at look. Does that look like me? It's me on the left, Niall Horan in the middle, Nathan on the right.
I
Nathan,
look like an owl.
Nathan, to be fair, Nathan, you look great again. Lovely lighting.
It's lovely lighting there,
Do you
yeah.
think
But
so?
half of my face is getting a bad light. Now, I had a bit more weight in me then as well, boys.
Of course.
Okay, so look, we're talking about the half face. half face. That looks okay.
Yeah.
Normal person.
Yeah.
Look at that guy.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's alien.
Yeah.
And
They
sure
had that
wasn't.
guy interviewing Niall Horan.
So I was a little bit thrown because I was like, oh god, this.
So that was the
this
Niall Horan. What would you say?
I said my one would be most recently would be Sigrid.
Yeah.
Just because it wasn't. I don't think it was the funniest one we've ever done, but it was probably the most relaxed we've been because we've done a good few now, and she kind of got us where we had a bit of crack with her. She played along with us, and then I was able to relate a gig that she was at, and she was so impressed with that. And then she gave us an exclusive on a song that she wrote of her Electric Picnic gig, and I just felt like, for me, there's some interviews because we don't do a normal interview. We'll try and throw something a bit weird. Mainly Nathan will do something weird, and it kind of throws them a lot. Like I remember Codaline we did a couple of months ago. They were like, "What is going on? Are we being done?" Years and years we had 2 weeks ago. Ollie from years and years was like, "What is this?" But Sigrid just went with it, and it was kind of one where everything just clicked. She got our games. She was very receptive to us, and she was just such a nice person. I was so happy because I was seeing her on stage and she looked so nice, so it was a matter of like, okay, this is a perfect one that everything was clicked, was perfect. So that would be my
like,
favourite one.
When we started out, like, we were starstruck by fucking anything. Like,
Yeah,
like,
well,
like
like,
we,
Now you're a bit too relaxed for my
I
liking,
will
boys.
say very relaxed. Like so much so, like it's like you don't care that we're here.
What's your name again?
Yes, Greg.
I met you downstairs in New Bar, lads. Like, you can't have notions about yourselves when I meet you in New Bar. No, but like you were saying, like when we started out, like even me and Greg, Gav was away doing drama auditions, but me and Greg interviewed Jo, and like it shouldn't be like, now it's just like, oh, it's Jo, like he's
We see him in
yeah,
campus.
he's always around, but in the moment it was like, Jason Sherlock, fuck, like this guy.
I particularly remember after two Johnnies were like little schoolgirls.
Yeah.
Oh, like after the two Johnnies,
I like that most of the time.
when they walked out of the room, I actually leapt in the air with how happy I was about how it had gone. But now we're
How many episodes is this?
Like we'd have to go back and count them. 25, I'd say, nearly.
Nice.
Yeah, we're doing well.
We did get it last week. We were only saying it was the first time we'd got it in a while. We went to Marconi House to interview Fergal Darcy. That was for us now. That was like the first time we walked
these boys
up to the radio
playground
studio.
Did he bring you into the studio?
FM studio.
Oh
The
wow!
sound of it is actually just...
It's like.
We have to do
So
one or
good.
two in there. If we did Codaline in the Today FM studio, too good for us. We were like, no, we don't want to be in there anymore. It's too big and it sounds too good. Let us back into our crappy little recording studio in the corner where we do our podcast. We're happy there.
Fergal emailed me on the recording, and I was listening to it on the way home from DCU the other day, and like the sound quality compared, like, and okay, in fairness, the iPad isn't the worst, and neither is the phone, but just the difference is something else. Like, it's so crisp.
Yeah,
And
but so,
we got to see Dermot and Dave's desk as well. So
We were given the grand tour, and then we actually ran into your successor, Jazz and Laura. Yeah, Jazz
DCU alumni.
went here. Yeah, he did comms like us. He was head of DCU FM.
not unemployed, which is remarkable.
Yeah.
For,
No, Jazz and Andy as well. The two of them had a
Andy,
show because
yeah.
we judged your
Jazz and Andy's pre-drink.
we judged your media awards, and I think we judged them 2 years in a row. And I remember the first year we were like, oh, we really wanted to give to Jazz and Andy, but it was a sports one. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
And then the next year it was like Jazz and Andy just upped their game, and they were so
Like
good.
we listened back, the two of them came in and did like a showreel workshop with us, and they were playing clips from theirs, and it sounds as professional as anything, while also like being an extremely entertaining show.
No, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
So my favourite thing was when they used to spin a wheel to decide which nightclub they were going to go to on the night out. But it was always the same nightclub, whichever one their friend was running. It was class. I absolutely love it. But you DCU lads, I like the way you stand up for things, because didn't you have this big massive thing about getting an extra chicken goujon in the bar? And then your student union person wanted to lower the price of
the
chicken fillet roll.
Yeah.
Like, you boys are standing up for the real things.
right.
Like,
Both chicken related issues.
Yeah.
but,
these are my type of issues that I want my student
The
union to be
most pressing
standing up for.
issues in Irish culture,
Yeah.
I think.
And did it all came through? You all got your chicken?
yeah.
Your
We got our
goujons back?
chicken goujon back, and we got the price lowered of the chicken fillet.
So what is the price?
I think
know.
it's 3 something with 2 fillings.
Yeah.
I think it's like
Yeah, it's okay.
But they were charging like nearly 5 for
a chicken fillet roll, which is
with 2
ridiculous.
fillings. which
Now,
is
is that with
standard.
cheese or what is it?
Like,
Well, if
mayo.
you're charging extra with cheese and you're going near 5, I'm like, boys, come on now.
I think
This is how it is.
I can't tell you because I never frequented the rolls here. I always went across to the Centra across the road because they.
Are you
do-
sponsored by this Centra or
I
are they
wish
sponsoring the podcast?
They're since closed down. But they used to do a
Bad
Food
publicity,
poisoning.
apparently.
They used to do a €2 chicken fillet roll.
Wow.
That's
Stuff.
hard.
Yeah.
That isn't bad at all.
And then they'd have a deal where you get a bag of crisps and a bottle of water with that for just an extra €1. So it's the rolled crisps and water for £3.
Can I ask what's your course like? Because I was going to do your course. Communications.
Really?
Instead, I ended up in DIT, meeting my good old pal Nathan here.
It's the butt of a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of seen as the wasters of the college because we have so little hours, we do so little, and just generally aren't up to
4
much.
year?
Three.
Three. Oh, if they had 4, like the amount of hours,
What would you do?
We'd have like 5 hours in a day. I'd say. Yeah, no, they barely make it 3. I think my mum always jokes that we could get this course done in 1. And
Yeah.
You could.
My dad used to call my course transition year.
Yeah.
Graham's going back to Dublin for a transition year for another 4
communication
years.
studies is just basically transition year, like 3 or 4 years, like on.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it is really. We're just.
I don't know. It is good though. It gives you a bit of everything.
But that's the best
So,
thing is that
you know.
people take the piss out of it and whatever, but it actually gives us a load of practical skills. It gives us loads of work. It actually does prepare you for life in the media
But
industry.
you know what it does? It gives you time to do stuff like this.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
Which is
one of
like
the
what
main
me and
things.
Nathan did.
Yeah.
We set up our own podcast like yourselves because we didn't have a 24-hour, like a 365-day radio thing in DIT. We only had 1 week per semester. So we were like, let's set up our own podcast and do something. And having that extra time allowed us to do that. And the people in our course who use that extra time to their advantage, the likes of Jarlath and Kieran and all those guys who were doing documentaries, are now the ones who are excelling in their field. So it's all about how you mightn't have many classes, but that's
what we do for our time. Is this?
Yeah.
We spend a lot of work because obviously we have to do the interviews, whatever. Then we have to go edit them, record or edit them. We have
I
to.
hope you won't be editing this.
Nah, unfiltered.
Yeah.
And the amount of notes as well you have in front of you just for all the research
Oh,
you've done.
no, actually,
is
I want to address that.
incredible.
I want to address that. We generally have our notebooks out and we have all our research, but we said for this one, we were like, no, we're going to see where the conversation takes us.
It's because you had Sarah McInerney this morning and didn't have time. I'm on to you boys, don't worry. Sarah's more important than us, Radio 1, whatever. I
Our
get it.
podcast was called The Whispering Eye. Did you come up with the name?
Yeah, do you know what the Whispering Eye is?
No, but I could.
Do I want to know?
Yeah.
I could give him a guess.
Yeah, it was horrible, like plugging like the name of it at family reunions. I'd still
What's the
do
name
it.
about? Yeah, the whisper.
Whispering of the
But I think there was only a term that came out in Superbad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
my whispering or her whispering eye and stuff like that. It was my idea. It was horrible. And then I remember you were, can we change the name? I go, no, we've gone too far now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've gone way too
like
far.
our name is horrifically generic.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's used for basically any kind of talk that's put on. Like me and Gav went to a talk. Owen McDermott was doing a talk with Professor Green about mental health in
Oh, how
Sugar
was
Club.
that?
It was class.
Very good, yeah.
I
Really
really
good.
like Professor Green.
Yeah, he's dead sound. And then it was called Owen McDermott in Conversation with Peter. And then John Bishop has a running TV. I think it's still on at the moment on like Watch.
I
or
saw
something.
his with
And it's-
Professor Green.
Yeah, John Bishop in Conversation with, that's what it's called. But like we came up, like we were doing an assigned show last year and we had the form and you have to give your show a name. And like I just thought of it on the spot in Conversation. I asked the lads, they were like, yeah, that's grand for what we're doing. We're doing a student radio show.
Sums
It's
it up, like,
fine.
Do you remember the name of our semester 1 show?
Asher, look.
Asher Look.
Oh, actually, look. Yeah.
That's
Very
creative,
Dermot, very
that's
Dermot
creative.
and Dave.
Yeah.
Very Dermot and Dave. They're
Um,
very Asher look.
But yeah, like it suited the purpose and like we weren't taking that seriously. And
Hey
then,
guys, no regrets.
No.
Well, you got to
Right,
hope
right.
that people are googling the other events in the John Bishop show and then you pop up.
Yeah,
and then
well,
go,
actually,
wow,
it's
John
funny-
Bishop sounds different, but I'll give it a listen.
It's funny you say that because I went to search for the Two Johnnies podcast on Apple Podcasts and I searched the Two Johnnies and they came up and the next search result is us. And then I searched like some of our other kind of prominent guests, if you will, and like Ian Dempsey comes up, and obviously it's like Ian Dempsey and Gift Grow comes up, but the next search result is us.
Yeah.
And that's basically all of our guests. If you put their name into any of the podcast search engines, we come up pretty much
Taking
first.
notes there, Nathan Ryan.
Fantastic. Anyone have a pen? Jesus.
Okay.
How many hits does this podcast get?
Oh, cool. You're going to ask.
You're
for
really
this?
good at
What's your
Because if it's not above 2,000, Nathan's out of here.
what's your listenership?
Awful. Awful.
Well, I guarantee ours isn't much better, but
No,
we
we need to work together, boys.
Collaboration.
Okay,
We
we're
need
going
sponsors.
on. We're going on the your podcast next. Okay,
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Decided that
We
now.
need to
Yeah.
collab.
Now, right, we'll bring it back. So, what did you guys do in DIT?
We did film and broadcasting.
Okay.
I reluctantly did it. I got in on a third round offer, to be honest with you. It was either that or Chinese in business.
Chinese.
Just a little bit of Mandarin for it. That's your core demographic of this podcast.
Of course.
Made that up on the spot. I still wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's gibberish.
And yeah, it's just a very broad degree. It was 4 years in Ainger Street.
Were you just based in Ainger or were you split?
Based in Ainger,
Okay,
yeah, 4th floor, yellow doors, the smell of cat piss. It was home for me. I knew once I arrived, I went, I'm
Do you
gonna like
still have the cat piss on the door at home just to...
I have a cat
Okay.
and it pisses on my leg.
Fair.
And that's where I met Greg.
Think about how much money you'd be making now if you did Chinese in business.
I know, a lot of money.
Do you ever think about
A lot of money.
that? How funny would it be you walking through like Hong Kong or
Oh, I'd be
or
a
anywhere
god.
over in Asia?
6'5".
You,
Goodness gracious.
You'd be worshipped.
Yeah.
oh my god, I haven't
Yeah.
thought about that before.
Yeah, I
But
do.
it's-
Instead, you're stuck with it.
Hello. Another small person.
Okay, pause.
Sorry.
What does that mean?
It only does 30-minute blocks because it's
We're 30 minutes already.
Time flies when you're having fun, guys.
Well, when you're in conversation with
He said it.
it's like when you're watching a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the title. There it is. There
Roll
it is.
credits.
But
Yeah.
that's where I met this man.
Yeah, so I'd film and broadcasting down. I'd actually like yourself, Greg. I was like film broadcast. I was going to do journalism, and then I was like, I'll do film and broadcasting. Seems a little bit easier and more kind of access to radio. I had DCU down as well, journalism and communications. But I had DIT down because I heard that there's more practical stuff in DIT than it will be here. There's a lot
There is a
fair
lot
of theory.
Some of the modules are very heavily theory based.
In communication, I was like, I don't want to do that. So I went to DIT, and then that's where I met Nathan. But I was hell bent on radio because I was like, radio. Nathan, you do really have an idea.
No.
You're kind of doing a kind of a broad spectrum to kind of see what it was. But I didn't know, it's a 4-year course, but I didn't know you don't actually start radio till 3rd year.
Oh.
So the first 2 years was me just kind of walking around going, why am I learning about Iranian film? I don't care about a film called Iranian Cow and about West African film either.
And I was thinking, why aren't we learning more about Iranian film? I was really enjoying
You're
it.
an Iranian film.
What's your
enthusiast.
favourite Iranian film?
Mulade.
Oh, yeah.
That's the African film. That's the only other one I can think of. What the hell is the name of these films?
Because
Just
it's
like,
about circumcision, so I just
wow,
really
it
thought
actually
about
is.
that.
Yeah, it's very, very raw. To
If
be.
you haven't watched Mulade, check it out. It's very good.
Not after a night out and a 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning. I wouldn't do that. So then in 3rd year, then me and you got closer and closer, and we realised that I was like, I want to do radio, and then realised we actually don't do that much actual radio. So I said to Nathan, we had another friend called Deborah, because I came from the background of listening to Today FM, and I said Ian Dempsey had a big team around him,
Yeah.
Ray Darcy, a big team, Ray Foley, big team around him. So I was like, if we can replicate some of that kind of type of radio, and it's doing a podcast, at least it's doing something. So I contacted Nathan. Nathan was like, yeah, fine. And then another girl called Deborah. So, but I only found out recently that you didn't want to even, well, no, you had no interest really in doing
it.
it.
Was fun doing the podcasts and everything, and it was just more so nice to have a friend. Nice to have a friend, guys, you know? And I was just doing all these things. Podcast was called The Whispering Eye. We ate a few donuts. We had the laugh. Not so much. At times, Graham was very angry. There was a lot of banging the studio wall with the fist. A lot of me crawling underneath the table and gently crawling out of the studio. Like, you knew what you wanted.
I had a bit of an anger problem back
Yeah.
then. I'm a lot more relaxed now. I'm a lot more zen. I'm doing yoga. Namaste.
Yoga, green teas.
Namaste. I hate green tea. It makes me shit.
I think that's the idea.
Clear me out. Yeah, but I was very kind of highly strung back then, and I remember there was one evening that we were recording, and we'd stay late night. We'd record between 6 and 8, and we'd record it all. I don't know if it ever happened to you guys. You'd record it all. You wouldn't really listen to it. You presume everything was going right, and whatever happened, we recorded in the wrong setting. So we did a really good show, and then listened back, and it was all in chipmunk voice.
I thought we sounded great.
And I remember I just smashed the thing. I don't know what was wrong with me, but anyway, bit weird. And then Nathan and Deborah look at each other going, oh God.
Yeah.
And I go, just get out! Just get out, I'll figure this out. And then we put it out anyway, and then all my friends like, Graham, you sound a bit weird this week. And the chipmunk guy go, no, your fucking phone is wrong. Your phone is wrong.
But it was like from doing podcasts, like we were actually quite competitive people, and we did specialise in radio in DIT in the 3rd year, and we got to do our own show. And I liked watching the likes of Conan and those late night talk shows. And I think we just got the best out of each other because we both wanted to do the best radio show. So you had your kind of radio mind in terms of you had your games that you wanted to do, while I had like one of my best mates, Mark, come in, and he was like my Andy Richter to Conan. Like I just had him always there with me, and we just ended up. It was because we both just wanted to do the best show, and I remember it was just off the cuff that on one day both of us did a show together. And not really that prepared. We just did it. It was DIT FM. We did one day where there was a free slot, and our teacher went, "But does both of you just want to do a show together?" And we did it, and the teacher was like, "That sounded really good. That you should kind of consider doing."
Was that
it
the first
together."
time you'd kind of gone on air together?
Yeah, we did podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
And we knew we had kind of chemistry, because you knew I was the one kind of the jock off the radio, and Nathan was kind of the comedy element there. So we knew we had that in the podcast, but we never actually had it on a radio sense, and we just did it in the lecture. Obviously saw something in it, because he was lectured to Ray Foley and JP, and he was lectured to Fergal Darcy as well.
So he knows.
So we kind of had an idea, and we were like, okay, cool, we just keep on doing it. And then we did, and then I think we just started. I remember once we were just trying to get into any sort of community radio station. And I remember we went to was it Rings End FM or something like that? And we tried to get in there. We were sitting down there in a meeting with about a load of 50-year-old people, and we were looking at each other going, "What is this?" And we left. And then I was trying to get onto an internet radio before, and the guy running it, I saw it on Gumtree, and it was an ad.
That was a credible source to find employment.
And it was like 80s radio, DJs needed now. And I go, this sounds like right down my alley. And I was working in House of Fraser at the time, and I told all the staff, guys, I think I'm going to be on this 80s radio thing. I'm meeting with the boss. You'll never see me again. I went to a pub in Monkstown, and I sat there for 2 hours by myself, and nobody turned up. And I had to go back to House of Fraser to go. Everyone was like, "How did it go?" I was like, it wasn't for me. I obviously got offered the job. 80s music. It's a bit past my genre.
Graham told me what happened, but I still replied to the Gumtree ad, and the following day, same thing happened to me. I was like, oh God, the boys have been burnt. But I think our big thing was then we entered the Smedia Awards.
Yeah.
And then that's how we got into Freak, because Ryan...
Phillips.
Ryan...
No,
Ryan Phillips.
No, I haven't forgotten his
No, I
name.
haven't. Well, what's his name?
Give me his name, man. Come on.
Ryan Phillips, he was running that digital station, and he emailed and was like, "Oh, how would you guys like to get in?" But even at that point, and we did the Freak Show, we did that, I always thought, you can't actually get a career from this. I was just doing it for fun, to be honest with you. I never thought you could actually make money. And
at this point now, where did you see your degree bringing you? Like, where
I was always thinking I was going to do a master's.
Okay.
So like we did the 4 years, and then I was just thinking I'm going to do a master's in PR or communications or something like that. And it was
Never
just,
told me.
No, Jesus. Yeah, I'm still doing.
He was hedging his bets with you, like.
yeah. But it was just from that. I
Yeah.
suppose.
Do you know Freak? Do you?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
the digital radio station of Spin 103.8, and it's where Communicore, which owns like Spin 98, News Talk
Training
FM,
ground.
was a training ground for
Yeah.
it. So we got in there, and I know you wanted to do a master's, but in my head, I had a conversation with my parents, because obviously I'd finished 4 years, and I said, right, what do I do now? Do I continue working part-time and try and do this? So I said, I give myself a year, do this and see where it takes me, then doesn't do anything after that.
get a real job?
Yeah, I'll get a real job. I think we had that kind of conversation as well, like, we'll give it a
let's
year.
throw ourselves into it.
Yeah.
But it was just like we were doing 4 shows. Like obviously this was all for free, but we were hitting it hard. Like 4 shows on Freak. We were the first people that did. It sounds so silly, but we were like the first people that did a phone call outside of the studio. Because I had to go. I was working in the cinema. And Graham's like, "Oh, but we're not finished the show. Look, I'll give you a call." And you just answer it from Grand Canal Dart Station. And I could like see Graham from the building. I'm like, "Hey, man." And he's like, "I want you to go up to someone." And we really treated the show as if we had listeners. And we had literally no one. But then Ryan was like, "Oh my God, you were the first people to do the phone call on Free." And it just seemed so obvious to do something like that. And then we did all the like Graham v Nathan challenges. Obvious again, there's 2 of you, you might as well do something like that. And we like people started recognizing us in the building of like these 2 are doing stuff. Like we were like, "How long can you keep your head underneath water for?"
So stupid for radio.
It's
like,
really stupid. And we just kept doing all these things, and then we were the first people on Freak to do like a video, to actually just do a music parody video. And we obviously had these contacts from our course who were a lot of documentary makers, a lot of filmmakers, and we were like, "Do you mind filming me in a kimono as my father watches? Do you mind me rubbing baby oil into your chest?"
Yeah, that was a big point. We did a music video in Nathan's house, and we thought his parents were gone for longer than they were. So it was do you remember, I don't know if you remember, the Chainsmokers, let me take a selfie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we did Let Me Build a Shelfie, where it was, Benny Benassi Satisfaction.
Yeah.
Tried to replicate that video with hot pants. I was in hot pants and a tool belt. Nathan was in a kimono, and we were just being really sexy. And then one stage I was standing on a log and Nathan was pouring baby oil over my head and I was rubbing it into my nipples. And then out of that, Nathan's parents walk into the house and look out the garden window going, what is my son doing with his career? He's got a degree and he's pouring baby oil over the strained boy from Mayo. So that was a big moment in our
There's
career.
a lot of videos with a lot of homosexual undertones.
Okay,
We kept creating
okay.
all these projects.
I mean, I kind of felt that when I met you.
Yeah,
initially.
yeah.
I'm sure they felt it about you.
Well, that's the reason I'm here.
I'm sure the wart on your nose didn't give him the wrong signal.
But go back to what you said about with Ryan, and the one bit of advice he gave us, he was the boss of Freak at the time, the one bit of advice he gave us was, would you do the show differently if you knew there was 1 million listeners? Because Freak, you get it.
Okay.
It's a digital, not that many people know about it, probably your friends, a handful, you could say 10 to 20 people could be listening. And you're like, I want to be thousands listening. And he goes, would you do the show any differently if there was 1 million people listening than the 5 you know are listening? And you probably go, maybe I'll probably do a bit more. And he goes, well then you're not in the right game. If you're not putting 100% effort into this little show, then what's the point of you even being here? And remember, that has stuck to me to this day.
You can't let your listenership define what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then what we've learned from now is there's always people turning on and off. So what we've learned the more we've gone into radio and learned about the business is people listen to radio at the same time in the morning. So we're on between 7 and 10, where we think that we're doing this big 3-hour piece of art and everything's intertwined. But the people, I know my housemates has a 10-minute journey to work and he listens to the radio between 7:45 and 8:55 every single day, and that's all he listens to. And you think you're there, people hanging on you every word, but you don't. So if you got to make sure that between that time period if he's listening to, you got to put 100% effort into that 10-minute slot to make sure he's getting value for money. You can't just be lazy, and that's stems back to what Ryan said. It's like, make sure if you had 1 million listeners or 5 listeners, you make sure you're doing the greatest piece of audio you can possible. So, but I know this podcast has 1 million listeners, so that's why we're doing the best we can.
That's why we're really doing
We're really doing the best.
We hit that target one.
But I was very much like you, Greg, not interested in radio in the slightest. And when we got into Freak, you had already booked flights to go to Vancouver.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to. So Ryan was like, "Can you start now?" And you were like, "I've booked my flights. I have to go to Vancouver."
I was on the train going to Dublin from Mayo, getting the flight out, and I get this email, and I go,
Oh God. So I said, look, I will do the shows for the summer just by myself, just to buy us time for when you return. And then I realised I didn't understand radio because I never listened to it. So my show was like monologues, like Conan O'Brien monologues in each link that were like 6 minutes long. They were just, and I remember, like, this isn't slamming Ryan, but it was just a thing where he listened to it and he just thought, like, this is not what we're looking for, because it's like supposed to be a 10-spin hit sort of station, and I'm like going on just like, I don't know if my father loves me, like I was doing like a weird monologue, and it was just I remember he was saying, I don't know if this is for you, and I kept going like, no, wait till Graham comes back. And Graham comes back after 3 months and he's like, I'll sit in on one of your shows because I'm doing a solo show. I was like a different person. It was like he went into a mental home and I was like, hello Graham, and I was just very robotic and everything. And the thing I suppose I've learned is, like, we know our roles, like we really do. And I think with double headers, I feel sorry for a lot of double headers because a lot of them like have just been put together, and sometimes it works, but sometimes it's like it doesn't, because like you're just
I don't think you can replicate like a dynamic, and obviously like your dynamic is brilliant. You know what each other is going to say before they do. You never step on each other's toes. From when I listen to you, like you never talk over each other and stuff. I don't think you can replicate that, and it's certainly not something you can buy. Like,
no, it's just, I think if you put in the years of friendship beforehand, the more you do something, the easier.
But not everybody has that opportunity, and the big thing as well is ego. Is like if you're bringing 2 presenters together and the both of them want to be successful, and so for our show, I'll be the one who presses the buttons and I'll intro and outro the songs, and that's just the way it's been since the very beginning. And then Nathan, you'll come in, tell a story, I'll come in, and then I'll wrap it up. And we know our roles because that's how we started out. But if you were putting two people together, and someone who was used to, you know, intro and outro songs, you go, you're not that person anymore.
Yeah.
Your ego gets dented. You go, am I not as good as that person? And they're kind of, it becomes kind of a bit selfish. Whereas me and Nathan just want each other to succeed.
Yeah.
And I remember you spoke about Hamish and Andy before, and it was one really good thing. So Hamish and Andy, Hamish is the comedian, and Andy's the kind of the straight guy. So I'd be the Andy, and Hamish would be more like Nathan in a kind of a sense. And Andy did a great interview before where he was saying that he really struggled in the beginning, where Hamish was getting all the laughs and Andy didn't feel like that he was funny. But he said in the end, he came to the realisation that a laugh for Hamish isn't a laugh for the team. So if Hamish has been funny, Hamish and Andy are being funny.
You
so
team them up. Like,
yeah, exactly. So they worked as a team. So that was a big thing for us as well. We realised, look, Nathan is hilarious and he is doing all the laughs, getting the majority of the laughs on the show, but the laugh, I can't get jealous of that, go, oh my god, I'm not funny, because it's a laugh for the team as
Because
well.
I couldn't do that if
That
Graham
aspect of
isn't pressing the buttons and getting, like, even when, like we mentioned earlier on, interviewing the likes of Niall Horan and Sigrid, I would struggle to do a lot of the serious stuff of like, okay, you're launching this album, you're doing, like, how we actually prepare for it is Graham is doing most of the work, and then I just swan on in and I'm like, alright Sigrid, have you ever been on Tinder? And then Sigrid's like, oh god, but Graham like brings it back and he's like, oh, but your album, and I'm like, they're comfortable trousers, where did you buy that? And it just kind of works because it's like serious and you have a bit of fun and everything, but
We
yeah.
just try to lull them into a false sense of security.
that's it.
So we're going, Sigrid, I absolutely love your album. Oh my god, that track number 7. She's like, oh my god, it's a serious music interview. Oh my god, we're going to talk about our songs. And Nathan's like, here, what's the crack with the dating scene over in Norway? Do you think I'll do well over there? And she's like, what? And then he's like, yeah, but no, seriously, that song, really good. So you kind of buy their trust a little bit and then just unleash Nathan.
I think-
Like a dog. Go, off you go.
And I think one of the key features that you've mentioned is spending time together. Like all like great dudes that we've listened to and interviewed are the exact same. Like the two Johnnies have known each other for years. Chris and Kira have worked together for 10 years, I think. Fergal Darcy and Peter Peter Ganley when they were on iRadio, they're all the same. And I think we're starting to find that now. We know each other.
Don't call him. I've known you long enough, Colin.
But that's what I'm saying. Like we've known each other about a year and a half now, and we've been doing this. Well, we started the radio show almost around the same time, anyway. So I think we're starting to find that sort of dynamic as well. And we do have our roles in the thing. Like you said, I handle majority of the emails.
Yeah.
Greg does the social media. Gavin does most of the technical stuff, and then we come together and we record the podcast.
We really probably should readjust that because like you can't do anything fucking technical. You're useless. Like
Leave Gavin for
Oh,
that.
crying out.
Gavin,
Yeah.
you're me.
Yeah, man.
He's made
But
it.
you're
Don't
not
worry
funny.
about it. It's all
I
good.
love it.
Do you know?
You'll show him someday. Who's technical now? Greg. I'm actually hosting the Late Late Show. That's, completely fine.
So yeah, you were working away on Free.
I've got a question. Sorry. Mayo, what part?
Lewisburg.
That's where the place.
A real place.
Where is it?
Outside of Westport.
Oh right,
So the furthest west point you can go.
right,
Next up, New York.
right. How,
Not a fan of it, or where are you from?
Leash.
All right. Oh God, nothing county.
He can't swim.
What?
What are we going to say?
You can't swim.
Well, to be honest, I'm very bad in the ocean. I'm
Um,
horrendous in the ocean. I'm a very bad swimmer.
Well, Leash is the only county in Ireland. It's the most landlocked county in Ireland. It's the only county without a neighbouring county which touches the sea.
Okay.
So quite aptly, I can't swim. It's not a big deal. Like,
Do you have swimming pools?
Yeah.
Just
Are
ask.
you gonna learn how to swim?
No.
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 Can you swim like just badly?
No.
Or you can't swim at all?
No. I can't even float.
I
don't
struggle
float.
with floating.
Yeah,
I get
like-
panic attacks in the
Yeah,
water.
like see, it's so unnatural. Like it's water. You're supposed to be like fuck.
Do you know what the worst thing is when people are like floating? Goes just relax. I'm like, no, I could drown.
Don't
That's like telling someone in the middle of a panic attack. Yeah, just hold your breath. There you go.
But then if you put me on a plane, I will jump out the plane. I'll go bungee jumping. I will zip line.
Yeah.
I will do
Oh,
any.
yeah.
I will have no problem with that. Everyone's like, oh my god, I have no problem with that. But like, I went snorkeling with my girlfriend in Cuba. But I stayed on the boat. I was like, I'll mind all the valuables. I'll make sure the boatman doesn't steal it. The boatman. The boatman.
The slave.
The captain of the boat. Doesn't.
Boy.
Yeah, boy, I need another sherry, please.
Some.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. So, but I live right beside the sea. I have so many blue flag beaches within 5 minutes of my house, and I just refuse to go in.
I actually, during my time in Galway, I actually lived with 3 Mayo men. Swinford, Foxford and Knockmore.
Knockmore. Swinford, the Irish for Swinford is Ballinamucca, which means the town of pigs.
Yeah.
So they're like Swinford, like swine.
Yeah.
So that's a little fun fact for you.
There is quite a few, yeah.
Craig, you
It's actually really
devil
funny.
you.
It's actually
Devil.
funny. I work in a hotel, and I met this pair from Swinford over the summer, and I was like, right, because he used to tell us the story about the pub he worked in, and we're not going to name any names, but there was a woman in there who used to give blowjobs for money, or pints, depending on her, and I was like, hey, do you know Dimpna? And they were like, you mean Dimpna down in the pub? Like, and I was like, yeah. They're like, you've been to Swinford, so. I think it's like a rite of passage there if you go to, we won't name the pub. If you go to the pub, you gotta meet Dimpna.
We're gonna have to put like an extra explicit, like, you know the way there's a regular explicit mark, we're gonna have to put like a second one there.
I didn't say anything bad.
I'm assuming Brian Dobson got that.
He did. It's very potty-mouthed, you'd be surprised, yeah.
But you were working away in Freak. When did you get called up to the big leagues?
So I remember we were on Freak for about 9 months, and then we got contacted by another radio station down the country, and they were like, oh, we may have a slot coming on free on a Sunday night, we'd love to get you guys in, just kind of bed you in. And we were like, now we don't have any money for you, but you know, we might pay for your travel down. And we were like, unbelievable, we're going to a proper radio station, we're going to be on air. So we rang up the boss of the Freak, we're like, go look, we're out of here, thank you very much for having us. And we're like, grand. And then they, like, a couple hours later goes, what's going on, who are you going to? And we're like, oh, we've been offered a Sunday night show, blah blah. And they go, please don't sign anything, and we'll contact you. And they made up this Sunday night show, and they go, are they paying you? We're like, yeah, they're paying us. Of course they're paying. Yeah, they're paying us. Yeah, cool. And they go, okay, we'll sort out, we'll just match what they're matching. So we go, okay, they're paying us this much. And they go, okay, perfect. So that means that was for
low
spin.
balls far too much. Like,
Yeah, of course. That was for spin. So then we started on Sunday night from now prime time. So we were very lucky. Quarter to 12.
No, it's quarter to 10.
10:45 to 12:45.
Oh yeah.
At night time.
Yeah.
Like really prime time.
On a Sunday.
Yeah.
On a Sunday night. Like
Wow.
we had a lot of listeners. And it was called the long and short of it because he's long and I'm short, and we kind of had to sum up the week. But that was the start of it. But then it got very loose, and we just kind of did what we wanted.
It's always a show where you'd be so hungover going into it. And
Even at 10:45 on a Sunday.
yeah.
Looking back, like we shouldn't have been as hungover we were. Considering it was like we've been given
hungover.
this opportunity, and we go, I'm just going to go out on Friday, come home on Sunday evening, and just like swan into this show.
Well, it's crazy how nervous we were for a good few weeks. You're just there, and you're like, oh my God, so many people are listening to this. And then you're like, no, they're not. And you just get comfortable. And it was great fun, but we still, like, I remember I'd do the Sunday night show, and then I was up really early the next morning working in retail. So it was just, like, it was great doing that Sunday night show. It was really great fun, but we did lack a bit of patience. I remember we'd do it, and we were constantly like, oh God, we want to move on to the next thing. Like, we were never going to just sit back. We kept going like, okay, and what Freak had taught us was like, we need to keep doing these videos, we need to keep doing these Graham versus Nathans. I remember we'd come in during the week, and our big thing was, there's not enough computers for us to sit down in. And people would be like, why are you here? You have a Sunday night show. And you'd be there on like Tuesday and Wednesday with some audio, like, oh yeah, this will be good, we'll play this out at 11:20. And you were just really taking it seriously. And then I think our big break was like didn't we cover the Zoo Crew?
Yeah.
And that was like, oh God, that was really big for us.
Covered the Zoo Crew around this time 5 years ago. So
Yeah.
it was around Valentine's, and then it was around St. Patrick's Day then as well. I think we did it. We covered the Zoo Crew. We were on long and short of from November 2014 to June 2015. And then it was kind of right place, right time, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe the plan was in place before, for ages ago. Because Ryan and Tracy used to be on Fully Charged. They moved on. Ryan went into a different career. Tracy then moved to 2FM. Cormac and Daniela were then on the Zoo Crew. They moved from Zoo Crew to Breakfast, and then we moved from Nighttime to Zoo Crew. Yeah. That was in the June, but we call it right place, right time, but then we don't know that maybe they knew a year in advance that they were going to leave and then that we were going to...
Well, you never know. All of our guests seem to firmly believe that right time, right place is
Yeah,
basically
luck
how
is a massive part.
you know.
But you won't have luck if you don't put hard work in.
The word,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you kind
so-
of create your own luck in a way. as well.
Exactly, yeah. So then we started Zucre and was like, this was the greatest thing ever because now we could quit our jobs because you were working in an Avoca, paying coffees, and I was working as a spinny. So I was driving around the pink cars, handing out merch at 7 o'clock in the morning, outside offices and schools, and it gets to a point you're like, I can't do this anymore. As great as it was because it got us in the building and it made me part of Spin because they don't do it anymore, but I became a character on the shows where I had to do a phone call every morning on Fully Charged, then I had to do one on Nikki Hayes doing Spin Hits, then I had to do one on Steve K. So I was on Spin 3 times a day, phone calls saying, hey, we're out here, we're doing this, we're doing that. So I became a massive part of it. But then the most difficult part of that job was trying to stay busy. Like some days we would literally find a car park which was hidden somewhere in Dublin, go to sleep in the car, wait for the days to go by, hide, not hand out any merch. I remember once I had no jacket for about 6 months and I went to our boss. I go, can I get a jacket? And she goes, oh my God, you've been out in the freezing cold every morning handing out stuff and you've had no jacket. I was like, yeah, I have not been sleeping in the car in the Clonsky house car park every morning. So that kind of job was like, it was great, and it's a great kind of to fill a gap. But we were very happy. God, we were so happy to get that full time. It was just a weight lifted off our shoulders. We knew what we were doing was right, and then we were eventually moving in the right direction.
When we got the Sunday night show, am I right in thinking we were also offered like a 5-day show down the country? And I remember I was like, let's do this. We can do it full time. Like, let's go down 5 days.
Whereabouts
down the
was it?
country. Was it
Spin Southwest.
Was it Spin Southwest?
We were offered the Zucre in Spin Southwest.
Yeah, we were offered that, and I just remember being like, yeah, like this is a no-brainer. 5 days over a Sunday night show. And our mentor, Pat, our lecturer, radio lecturer in college, was just like, I would try and stay up in Dublin because it's quite difficult if you're down the country to try. Now it has been done. It has been done.
Martin Guilfoyle.
Yeah, countless times you can make your way up there. But he was just like, I would think of the long game. So it could have been so easy for us to be like, yep, 5 days. And then we were thinking, oh, we'll like move in together down the country. And that would have been, I'm
too much for each other.
That's a big regret of mine. I think we should have lived together.
No, you're right. Yeah, maybe not.
I see bunk beds. Yeah.
No, let's get the beds together. Spoon every night. I think that would have been the biggest.
Yeah.
I don't like. It's a great station, and I think it would be great. But us two having to move down together. Because we would have only known each other. Obviously, we would have got to know people, but I think we would have spent too much time together.
Yeah.
And we would have lost our network of friends and family and stuff like that.
You say that, but like the two Johnnies live together for ages, and like they live separately now, but they do spend every waking moment together. It seems.
Yeah.
They do get their breaks, but their dynamic hasn't seemed to change, and only strengthened in a way.
It becomes different when you're living together as friends and your best mates. But then when your friendship becomes commercial. So their friendship is now commercial. They're making money off them being friends, and that's their job. We're making money off our friendship. Like we went out on Saturday night together as mates. On Monday morning, we're talking about what happened on the Saturday night. So everything that happens in our life is on the show to a point. Obviously, we know we say to each other, don't mention that. We know what not to talk about. But in the whole grand scheme of things, we're both very transparent. We'll go. Majority of stuff we will talk about. Like you talked about your breakup on the show, I talked about my girlfriend and all that kind of stuff. So we're very transparent. But when your friendship becomes commercial, then you kind of have to have a sit down and realise it's a marriage essentially. Like there'll be days when the both of us are thick with each other, and there'll be days where I would say things to other people that I wouldn't say to you because I know it would piss you off more, and it's not worth pissing you off for the show and stuff like that. So it is kind of a sense of that. We could never live together.
It's not a platonic relationship.
Right. Okay.
We make love, but
Who's more passionate over?
me.
Oh yeah, I can tell.
Are you the big spoon?
Small spoon.
Small
In every design.
He's got bigger arms, so yeah, you'd probably like to feel secure in his
Definitely.
arms.
Yeah.
And Greg, I thought it was calling the fans me, but I'll take you as well.
I
Gavin, feel
still
free
haven't
to
got
give me a
over it.
compliment.
Yeah, I'll take all these.
Yeah, we wear blue jeans and a nice watch.
Your watch. Wait,
Casio.
no, flip that around. That was flipped. I was looking at your watch earlier, and it was flipped around
It
the
was
other
because I
side.
didn't want to look at the time.
Oh,
Uh,
you're respectful.
Yeah, I don't want to look because I was like, I don't want to look at the time because I don't want
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right, well, it's clear from the conversation so far that the boys do know each other fairly well.
Yeah,
But
they do.
it's time to bring back what used to be a staple of our radio show.
Back in the beginning.
When we
Back
were interviewing our mates.
Back in the beginning when we were interviewing our mates, every single time we would play a little bit of All-Star Mr. and Mrs. So I'd take each of the guests outside separately, ask them questions about the other, and we bring them back in and see how well their answers matched up. Now, if memory serves me correct, it was the two Johnnies that
Were
got the
the lead,
best ever
yeah.
score.
Oh.
They got 7 out of 10.
Jesus.
Which is
Damn.
flying. It's a first in college.
Yeah,
It's
it
a-
was.
I've
Like,
never
mo-
met the two Johnnies, but all of a sudden I really want to beat them.
There's a rivalry there now, yeah.
Your
really
quiff is
wanna
not
beat
as
them.
impressive as Johnny.
Yeah.
I know, I'll
Yeah.
take it, I'll take that.
Yeah.
But who would like to answer first?
Nathan, you answer first because I'll bring in the
Okay.
bring in the bacon then the home stretch.
So is this what I did beforehand?
Yes. Do you remember that?
I have full-blown dementia.
Explains a lot. Wait, is that?
We done an hour, boys.
Yeah, we have actually.
So I'm going to say the answer I gave you.
No.
No.
I'm going to ask you about yourself,
Okay.
and you're going to see if your
Great.
answers match
Oh,
up to
lovely.
Graham's.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, I like this.
Right.
Okay.
We all ready? Yep. Okay. Nathan, which trait of yours did Graham say he'd most like to have?
I'm going to say my height.
No.
That was obvious.
I see.
That's
When you
obvious.
I was
said,
going to say it. I was going to say
Is
it.
it my receding hairline?
No.
no, he said your beard.
Oh.
Might be
I was going to say the height. I was going.
Oh, that's fair. No, it was...
I'm gonna.
space. It's space. Yeah.
You fucking.
Right, well, that's it down then, is it?
No,
just
delete.
Oh, Nathan.
Sure, we uploaded those semester.
Okay.
I was literally going to say, but I was like, no.
No, I should have said beard.
This is a really disappointing start now.
It's
I'm not
because
gonna
I
lie.
trimmed my beard. I kind of forgot I had a beard.
I really need you to think here. I need you
Are
to
you
think.
Graham,
going-
your referee.
are you
will
going
watch Graham and make
properly,
sure
like-
that there is.
I'm going-
Uh-huh.
Honest.
It's hard to decide
Honest,
between sexual
I'm
tension
going-
though.
what do
and
you think
the-
I would
You're
say?
not going to get mine.
No, oh, just think. Okay.
Graham, you're not allowed.
Think
No.
what
no,
I
no,
would say.
right here. No, no.
Nathan, I hate losing.
Right,
Right,
exactly.
running,
We
do
start blindfolding them.
I know. No, Graham,
Think.
you're going to stare into Greg's eyes for the rest
Damn
of
it!
this
God
round.
damn, they're beautiful eyes.
Oh, I don't know if I can do this.
They could have been Niall Horan's eyes.
It could have been.
Oh.
It could have been.
Brings back bad memories, Niall Horan.
I often say that my mum actually like mixed us up, and that I should have gone home to Westmead, and Niall should have came to Laois, and who knows where we would have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have fucked it.
Yeah.
You would have definitely like popped the head off Zayn or something.
Isn't it mad? I
Oh,
often think about this. Okay, so isn't it mad that Niall Horan went to school, and girls would have got on with him and stuff like that. He goes to X Factor, comes back, every girl loves him.
Mm.
Isn't that just crazy?
Yeah.
Do you not?
Isn't
think
that what fame?
Since you've experienced your little bit of fame now,
It's mostly boys from DCU
Okay.
that want to email me and like
That's
meet up with
into
me.
your
Yeah, so
DMs.
that's
Yeah.
essentially what
Yeah.
what all I.
That's
do.
your target demographic.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is. If I can get you boys, I'm very happy.
just confused. Yeah.
Can you get your 9-year-old Tom housemate to listen to our show every month?
No.
Who does he listen to?
He doesn't listen to our show even. So.
Does he listen to Radio 1?
The voice.
No, he doesn't listen to radio because
God.
I actually only
If he
found out.
listens to like 21 Savage on Spotify.
No, he asked me. I asked him the first day I moved in where his Wi-Fi router was, and he said,
Hi-Fi.
Whose Wi-Fi?
"Yeah." So Tom has a phone. He has one of those Doro phones. You know, the little small with big buttons. Yeah.
The one that people can shove up their ass and bring
Them-
into prison.
Them ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it lives on the fridge, like on top of the fridge. It doesn't move.
You should get him a little magnet.
Oh,
For the back, and then it sticks on the fridge. So then he
yeah.
can kind of read it.
Very
People a message.
clever.
Yeah.
Do you cook him food?
No, he cooks a bit of food. He's particularly fond of liver.
Oh.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
He sent the home help down to the shop the other day, and he got pork belly fat.
Mm.
You know, you can buy pig hearts for 80 cents.
Guys, we're back
In
on the
Cork,
camera.
man.
We're back on camera,
80
boys.
cents. It's awful cheaper you think for a heart. I just thought I'd bring it up, guys. Never mind.
Right.
So
Come on, Nate,
So
dog.
far.
0 for 1 so far. Graham, eyes on Greg.
I'm not looking.
Yeah, okay, good man.
Look at my crop.
Which trait of yours would Graham least like to have?
Just think.
My receding
Oh,
hairline.
Jesus Christ.
No.
No, wait! My voice!
No.
It's your crumpling paper habit.
Oh man, that's very niche.
Because it's you. I give out to you every
I'm
day.
happy with
What
that.
is this?
I give out to you every day
I
about it.
crumple all my notes.
Alright, so we get given notes and we have to go into an interview. And it's going, okay, keep your notes nice and fresh so there. He goes, grabs, stuffs it in his bag, comes out, takes it out, and it's all crumpled. And and I'm not OCD or anything, but like he's done this for years.
It's the
I just-
theatre of the mind. You don't want to be too prepared.
It's so annoying. It's just so crumpled.
Please.
He can't.
Please.
I won't even go on.
Support me.
It's so, you should see his desk in work. There was a mouldy
I
banana on it until yesterday. It's like, what is going on? He goes, oh, I'm such a clean house, I'm such a clean freak. You're not. Your desk is horrendous and you can't look, keep your
I
sheets
did
in
a
order.
dirty protest last week. Something I'm not proud of.
Alright,
Sorry.
we need to get everyone right now.
We should file the divorce papers.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to get that air of these groups every now and
you
then.
need to basically go 100% to top our leaderboard from now on.
Alright, come on. Nate Dogg.
Hey.
Mom.
A song, Nathan, that best describes you.
Like, you have to get this. You have to. It's my song. Oh,
Read.
Akon, Mr.
Boom, he's got it.
I wanted one direction.
This is the. I know you do.
You
But
know,
the
but
thought
did you think I
process.
was doing that?
Listen to
Okay,
the questions.
okay.
Okay. Greg, referee's
I'm
decision.
trying.
Yeah.
So intense.
Nathan,
Come on, Nathan. Think, man.
if you won the lotto tomorrow morning, what's the first thing you would do?
What would you do?
Eyes forward.
What would I do if I won the lottery? Have we spoken about this?
No, but like,
What? Stop
think of
rubbing your temples.
I'm trying to put it in your brain. Think of your character.
If I won the lottery,
What would you honestly do?
I would put the money towards Sunderland Football Club because
He never even mentioned that.
I like the documentary Sunderland.
Documentary, it's really good, yeah.
Was that the right answer?
Graham's had.
You put it in the bank.
I put it
because you don't like spending money.
You'd
You
save
put
it.
it away. You
This
definitely
man,
would.
He's overthinking things. Sunderland.
Something till I die. Like what the?
Do you still have your communion money?
No.
Okay, God. Okay.
Nathan,
I
Yeah.
can't remember the last one.
who would you have play you in a movie about your life?
Ryan Gosling.
Yes,
That's my
it
boy.
is.
Yeah.
Come on.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'd have to kind of do.
Hunger Strike.
Right. We need all five. So but how am I
Yeah.
thinking here?
So, in fairness, when we had
Sunderland till I die answers.
when we had the two Johnnies on, they started 2 of 5, and then Johnny B brought it home with a 5 out of 5 round.
Damn it. And I've even forgotten the answers already.
If we ever repeat here, it'll be quite something, right, Graham?
I don't like this vendetta we have against two Johnnies.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're lovely people.
We're starting a bit of beef. You know, we're
Yeah,
starting.
you're starting.
Tag team match.
Are the same questions?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Damn it.
Graham,
Oh God.
which trait of yours did Nathan say he would most like to have?
Come on now.
My biceps.
No. Don't. Why are you rushing?
Now, I'm glad.
No, I'm only messing with my traps. My
Why are you
abs.
rushing?
My abs.
This is-
my penis.
Hold on!
6 guesses in.
No,
you're not getting that.
No,
you're not getting that.
No.
Are you proposing to me?
Give it to him for the competition.
For the competition.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined. Yeah, referee says yeah.
Thank you, referee.
Okay, I know what you're thinking now. Okay.
Graham,
Yes.
imagine Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music playing in the background.
Oh, God.
Oh Jesus! Can we edit that in afterwards?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are.
Thanks.
We're gonna put a bed underneath this.
Was that a cow noise I just heard there? Oh yeah. Why is there chickens in here?
Are you having like a fit?
Edit it
Edit
in. Don't make me sound like a crazy person.
There's only so much editing can do. Graham.
All right, let's go.
Right, Graham.
Yes.
Which trait of yours did Nathan say he would least like to have?
Come on, baby, come on.
My height. My no.
He's having a stroke! Quickly, I'll give him mouth to mouth. Oh.
That's not his mouth.
Wait a second. What's the question again?
What trait of yours?
My hair.
Follow the thought.
What were we doing? We're just feeding them the answer side.
He said.
Well,
Okay,
he
hang on. The
can't
last one was
understand
questionable, and you
it.
gave it. What about your hair?
My grey.
Yes,
Yeah, come on.
I was close.
Well
I was close.
done,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
I
But
know-
hair is the same. Hair is the same.
I did notice the grey
What
when I
is
was
colour?
It's a side. It's a
I
side.
see, no, I can see one
Yeah,
there.
yeah. They're coming in the. Look, I'm
Yeah.
embracing it, boys. Right, 2 out of 2.
Well done.
Graham,
We're gonna be seriously cut out in the video.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
a song that best describes you.
Come on.
Okay.
I saw
that. Pitbull hotel room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I said no time.
What's the yeah?
I saw you mouth Pitbull in his
Oh,
You tried to play it off as a score.
I was. I have.
Oh.
It is very cold. My lips are cracking, and I go ba 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 because I've got a bit of
So here we
moisture.
go. If we get this one,
You have 2 more.
Maths was not your strong point.
Graham, if you were to win the lotto in the morning, what is the first thing you would do?
come on,
Don't try and go over me as well.
No.
No, you can.
bring it home.
Right, there's two things I think it could be.
Bring it home.
I'm thinking, is it what I'd actually do or what I would kind of jokey do? What I actually do or jokey do?
Ah! I'm gonna sue you, bastard.
Okay.
Just give me an answer.
I would, God, I forget this. Like, if it's kind of similar to the last answer, I would pay money to buy Liverpool. I buy a Pitbull cruise. I buy a house.
Damn it!
No, sorry, boys, the dream is over.
What is it?
Gravy pie.
No, you would.
I would.
Oh, gravy
I
pie.
would.
Oh, damn it! Right, last one.
Oh.
The dream's over. We're Simon.
Don't
Grayson.
cry because it's over, smile because it happened.
We're Simon Grayson.
For one more to come, a respectable joint second place.
Sunderland references coming out here.
Graham,
Yeah.
who would you have play you in a movie about your life?
Now, I've said this before. I've said this before.
I'm thinking here.
I've said this. I don't know if you know.
I wasn't
Now,
listening.
I have said, this isn't my answer, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But it's not that.
No.
I would also have said Pitbull. But it's not that either. Another person I would have
Are you
said.
just going to go until I tell you that you said it right?
I would have said because of the grey hair, but it's not because I'm not saying it's Philip Schofield. But I'm going to say
Just give say.
I would say someone who looks just very plain. Oh, jeez. Jonah Hill has got a fat face.
No.
Who did you
Steve Carell's character in The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
So obvious! Damn it was so obvious!
And with a score of a questionable 5.
Back in the net. I actually am stressed after
Great
that.
game.
I hate losing. I'm very
I
competitive.
like losing.
I hate.
Nice.
Hence why you support Sunderland
Yeah.
in their endeavours then.
Nathan wants to do a Simon Grayson impression for everybody listening.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You know, I think we just need to buy more players. Good, isn't it?
That was
You
so-
can begin the podcast.
I
with
mean, I
It's
know,
so
I
much
know he's
better
right
on
down
your
the hall. Mario Rosenstock must be quaking in his
that.
boots.
Yeah, I believe
No,
you.
We need to do a Simon Grayson segment.
Yes,
Grayson's.
corner.
Yeah. This is how it works,
Wow,
boys.
show meeting is going well. Yeah.
Guys,
This is how the magic happens.
I hope you're learning a lot. Boys, taking notes.
No, we usually end with Gab's question of best piece of advice, but I think we actually touched on it already. And it was a great piece of advice.
Just don't let your listeners define how you do the show.
Yeah, your audience size.
Yeah.
Same as if you had 5
100%.
people. Yeah, and that's really going to stick with me, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Boys, do you have any?
Nathan, do you want to add? Because I gave that piece.
I
of
gave that.
What's your piece of advice for us?
My piece of advice.
I'll give you another one. Just don't as well give up and be patient. Now it's very easy. You said that. Be patient. Very easy to be in a position where you actually have a full-time job and anything like to go to people who are trying to get into the industry. Be patient, because I know for a fact, and you touched on it as well, Nathan. We were so impatient. I remember when we were in Freak and there's people getting jobs left, right, and centre. We walked into our boss and went, "Why aren't we getting jobs? Blah 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 blah." And he was like, look, you're just not ready yet. We're like, we are ready. Blah. We were nowhere near ready. We're still not ready today for what we want to be. So just try and be patient. And it's so easy because it's a small industry and it's hard to get in. But once you get in, you're in.
Yeah, Peter Collins said something like that. It's like a
Name drop, take a shot.
and if there's a little wedge in the door, just put your hand through and just don't let go. That's what
Exactly, and just keep pushing through. And
unless it's that door between the Today FM studio and the offices, because that door is really heavy.
Yeah.
It's
double door.
That might really hurt.
Yeah.
So don't put your hand in that
double door as well.
Oh.
But unfortunately as well, we don't do Chinese in business where you jet set around the world and get loads of money. You're going to have to slog it out and do stuff for free. And what you're doing right now is the best thing that I've seen any students do your age or in that position of second year, is actually set up a podcast and get all these contacts and networking. So you're already doing an amazing job and continue it. I'm so impressed with what you're doing. But just kind of realization, you're going to have to work for free for a little bit. We did it for the Freak. We did it for the 9 months. Kind of, you have to go in and out. I remember I'd be in Dundrum. I'd have to run to the Lewis in my suit because I was selling suits downstairs in House Fraser. I'd have to get off, sweat, and run to a bus, get a bus, then do a show, not getting paid any money at all. I didn't get to go home for nearly a year, only got home at Christmas because I had to work in House Fraser the weekend, do Freak during the week, so I had no time to go home at all. So you kind of have to, if you really want to make it, you kind of have to sacrifice a little bit of your money, because you'll see people, your friends, doing business degrees and accounting degrees, and they'll be getting nice wages.
KPMG and all the big boys.
But your time will eventually come if you're patient and be nice to everybody, because you never know who's going to be your boss someday.
And that is echoed by the man we interviewed in this very room at the start of the year, your good mate Ian Dempsey. He said
exactly.
even in his position now, where he's probably one of the most established figures in Irish radio, he says, I will do this for you lads, because I never know in 2 years' time you might be in charge of me.
You never know. Like, we see people coming in work experience, and then we see them, like I've been dealing with people with work experience, because when you're a spinny, you have to bring them around for a day in the car and stuff. And now I see them, and they're now working as producers. I'm like, whoa, how did this happen? So just be nice to everybody, and just don't be a dick.
Okay.
There are dicks out there.
Advice for work and for life.
Yeah.
There's dicks out there, and such a small industry, people talk.
Do you find it hard to follow your own advice?
Yes. Yes, you prick. Where's my grip? You're never going to make it, so I can be a prick to you.
Boys,
And with that, Colin, you better end the show.
before it gets any worse, boys, thanks a million for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a brilliant time chatting to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's a nice end to the show. This has been In Conversation with Graham and Nathan. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.